this and
That's
we need
awesome.
this and the money has to come from somewhere and.
Nice. It's the.
Oh, a minute early.
Don't worry, it's so late. Forget me.
First item on the public hearing is the subdivision on Aspen Hill. Welcome. Do you want to start, do you want to read the publication of the note?
Yes, let me jump that.
So we have some new members and we don't do these a whole lot, so we kind of go over it a little bit, and I'm sure I'll miss some of the protocol. But this is a public hearing for this application, and this is our chance as the commission and for the public as well to ask questions from the chief here tonight representing the application. Once this closes, we there's not really a back and forth of questions anymore. So this is our time to really dig in deep, ask any question you might think. And yeah, anything else kind of on that, to know that?
No, just for the record, I have received the abutters notices confirmation from our applicant. I've also received, the project narrative and construction sequence I can pass to all of you as we review the application. And then furthermore, as required by statute, there was a legal notice that went out and it was printed on the 12th and the 19th of this month. And it reads, notice is hereby given that on Thursday, September 5th, 2025, in the Canaan Falls Village Town Hall located at 108 Main Street, Falls Village, 06031, and remotely via Zoom, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on the following. Number one, consideration of a re-subdivision and shared access way associated with Music Mountain Farm Lots 4A and 11A located on Aspen Hill Drive, applicant Keith Bodwell. Interested parties may attend and shall be heard.
Bless you. Bless you. Excuse me. Thank you, Colonel.
You're welcome.
So we want to go right into Keith's presentation and go from there, or do you want to go particular order?
I would, yeah, I would open the presentation to the applicant. If those present recall, the application was accepted at our last meeting when we convened back in July. The one note was that we needed to know whether or not there would be open space or fee in lieu. And what I'm passing around is going to be just the subdivision plan, so
Site plan subdivision. Yeah.
the site plan subdivision plan that Keith is also going to record.
You guys are welcome to come up and look at everything with stuff. That is good.
Refresh your memory. This was originally 2 lots, 4A, which was this smaller one up front here, and then 11A, which was the entirety of the rest of it, 72 acres for 11, and it was like 6 for the, says a total of I think 82 acres. I think I've got a narrative there, but so we're looking at revising the lot line between 4A and 11A to enlarge the size of 4A to be a total of 28 acres. So it would wrap around now through there, and then split the remainder of 11A into this 11B and 11C of a almost 25 acre piece and a 32.5 acre piece. The road frontage in 4 would remain the same. 11C would keep the same road frontage that 11 with a right of way across it to access 11B, with 11B being a rear lot. Last time I brought it to you, we had a shared driveway. We changed that to be 2 separate driveways on either side of that right of way, just to make it easier for landowners not to fighting over driveway access and things like that, so. And there's plenty of room there to do it, so. And it also helps bring the driveway for 11C uphill a little, which then is less cut and fill to access in.
Should I ask questions as we go
Go
along?
for it.
So the middle driveway that goes into this one?
Yeah.
What is the width? I don't know.
It's 75 feet.
Oh, it is 70.
So the access, yeah, the right of way strip was 75 feet. That gets all the grading and everything
Okay.
into that access way.
And is this going kind of with the grade, right? You're not climbing much?
Correct. We start to climb a little bit. This climbs up here, obviously, but this is kind of with the grade. So you can kind of see.
You know that percent
Yeah,
clearance?
they're all on here. So it's only 11% through this little hump. We do get up to 12.5% as we climb up through here.
And I think we're good up to like 15%.
Yeah,
right?
15% is your max grading.
Which is the house site and which is the road? on
So
this?
at this time, I'm sorry, but just for formality's sake, the applicants presenting to the commission, there will be a chance for.
We can ask questions later, but we can go over now.
Yes, absolutely. So hold those or write those down.
Alright, so this is the profile for that. Yeah, we get to 12%
Okay,
coming up this last.
and
bit.
that's the steepest one out of all of them.
Yes,
Yeah.
this one's just a short little driveway coming in and.
Yeah.
It's pretty flat up front there.
Do you mind discussing the open space?
Yep,
Easy to work.
yep, so the open space, we needed 15% open space, so we provided that by evenly spreading it out. Percentage wise based on the lot, so we have 4.89 acres of open space on this. Continuous with the open space on the next lot of 3.8 acres,
Is it this and
that and that, yes. And then 4.26 acre. Down at the lot.
And does that come out to the, like 12.3?
Total acreage, yeah.
Well, I was going off here 82 acres, so.
Yeah, it's. Can add them up right now, but it was like 15.1%.
Oh, okay. Mike, Amanda, you might wanna see where this is delineated as far as open space. So in a subdivision or re-subdivision, the applicant has a choice of doing 15% of the total acreage of the subdivided property or re-subdivided property, or payment in lieu of doing that. And they chose to dedicate this land, which means it's, in essence, it's a. I would say like a forever wild, there's no cutting trees, there's no anything, definitely no going into any wet areas, not that that applies here. But it is on this end over here,
Mhm.
on this lot. And then this lot goes right along that boundary as well, and comes this way. And then this one over here, but. Just so you guys
Thank you.
know about that. So that's kind of like a forever wild type of buffer
Yeah.
to that, where they
Mhm.
place it on the map.
And that does butt up against the state of Connecticut land, so it makes it good, we figured that was a good spot because it gets, it's kind of expands that state of Connecticut area that's protected.
4.89, yeah.
And incorporates this nice,
4.8.
this nice,
This
area there that would not be touched on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you submitted this re-subdivision rather to Torrington Area Health?
Yes,
And that's been reviewed, received?
it's received review. She asked me last week for a blow up of some of the stuff because she couldn't see it well on the plan. So I tried calling her several times this week and did not get through to Joy to see if she had approved it yet, but she had pretty much reviewed everything. She just wanted to better, so I think it should
And
be.
that's a requirement for passing of the subdivision is the boreholes. And
Test
the
pits.
water.
Test pits and the
Yeah,
Test
just
pits.
yeah,
pending Torrington.
yeah.
Yeah,
Everything, we had really good sandy soils out here.
I did read the soil.
Yeah,
So I
there's
don't
not-
think it'd be an issue.
So there's no, I don't foresee any reason why she wouldn't
Yeah,
improve, and I think she was, when I talked to her, she was pretty good with everything, she just wanted to see it
to where these lines.
blown up, yeah, exactly, kind of blow up view so that she could see the stuff better. So I submitted that to her last week, but
Why did we change to 2 roads instead of the one from last time?
mainly just due to keeping neighbor,
Peace.
happy when you have, avoiding the conflicts, there's plenty of space for it and the grade actually lends itself rather than climbing, or else you're climbing, coming from here, you're climbing up, so it's kind of eliminate some of the grading.
So
issues.
each driveway is shared by just two.
No, there's no shared driveway.
There's no anymore now.
Oh, because they've got access, their own direct
Yeah.
access.
They've got,
Sorry.
so there's
Gotcha.
no shared
Oh,
driveway.
that's-
Or we have a
that's great.
shared driveway.
Okay,
And our minimum road frontage is
That's great.
75 feet.
Your minimum road frontage
I
is
don't know that.
200, but you have the rear lot, so we have the
Oh, so then
right
you-
of way
You
across.
can do that with the
Yeah,
minimum of 50 and you're at 70.
then that's it,
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's where the comes into play.
Yeah.
And then this one is, if you have enough.
Yeah, this is the, so these don't remain ownership under that right away, so they have the full 200 still there.
So it's a right of way, but not necessarily part of the lot. I
Correct,
apologize.
correct, it's a right
So
of way
where's
across.
that right of way line? The
So
dot-
the dashed line right there, so they go all the way to the property line to that dashed line.
Okay. And then it comes up here and then.
And the actual lot starts there.
Oh, got it.
so this might,
Yeah, with all the stuff on there, it's hard to,
this may be a silly question.
yeah,
So who then is responsible for kind of maintaining what's in between there?
the owner of 11B. And
11B,
they'd have an agreement, or the right of way agreement would specify. that
Okay,
they were
they're responsible to take care of it,
take care
okay.
of the yard, yeah,
So,
but that eliminates the shared driveway agreements and all that
Yes.
stuff, yeah.
But if there are individual driveways, why do they need a right of way?
Because they're going across, this lot owns the entirety of this
that,
strip out to the road, because the 200, keep the 200-foot frontage. Rather than having two rear lots.
Enough road frontage is one.
It's how we
Do we need to have
allow
traffic?
rear lots to create access and
Yeah.
you provide them ongoing access.
Yeah.
Oh,
in
200 is
perpetuity.
just
So that's the
frontage,
idea.
not the width.
Okay, okay.
The drive, they have to have a minimum of per our subdivision regs. A minimum of 50 feet. Doesn't have to be clear, but at that 50 feet to put the 20-foot driveway here.
Mhm.
And then the buried services.
And we're providing 75 due to just the extra grading and stuff that's required for the driveway, so that we can keep all the construction on that right away. Rather than having to do a construction easement and then a permanent easement.
Grade wise, nothing is, this is disturbed, it's going kind of away from the road. Or
Yeah, it's kind of going, the grade is down this way, so, and this, with all this, we'll have we got silt fence along that whole edge. So. And it showed some, not showing up very well on here. There's infiltration swales that, I'll have to revise that and get you guys better cut, but there's infiltration swales shown along there. I don't know that
On the
under the
plan
grades
to
or
take
whatever,
that- to take that
to
runoff.
take the runoff, to break up the runoff as we come down, so it's all sand and gravel out there, so. Really don't need anything much more than that, just someplace to slow the water down and bring it across the contour and let it absorb in. Yeah, 'cause it-
Do you, when you have your notation, infiltration swale, do you imagine just like a depression with riprap, or is that an actual?
Yeah, we'll come off of this, cause there's already a swale coming down the driveway, so
Yeah.
we'll kind of come off the edge of that and.
Like a trench?
A trench
Yeah,
that would go along the contour to,
gotcha.
I don't know why
Slow
they
down the
didn't
water.
print right, but
Yeah.
they were showing along the contour going that. Right, enough to slow the water down, and let it pool there and infiltrate in, and as I
Gotcha.
said, the soils. Data shows it's all sand and gravel and everything through there, so.
And for the individual lot development, I'd expect to just like.
We'll have to come back
Yeah.
with site plans when we, I did mention in my thing that. We'll have to come back when we have actual house, cause we just showed squares for the houses, so. Each lot will have to come back to you for site plan approval. And we would deal with the drainage around the houses at that point in time.
So I'm just gonna meander my way through our regs, which are lovely.
Yeah. I know.
Maybe my questions be a little hopscotch.
Yep, that's
Apologize
fine.
ahead of time. I know one of them, and I don't know if I'll easily find it, but it was talking about all the service, the electrical service and the phone service, if there's such a thing anymore, needs to be buried in conduit. Each one of these lots, that won't be in the
It won't be in the queue.
fully.
No, we have, don't think we hit any ledge. It's rocky, but we didn't hit
They
any
can
ledge
get
on any of the test holes. We were 84 inches deep, I think, with the test holes, and didn't hit any ledge, so that's not a problem.
You took away all my open space questions.
Yeah,
Don't follow the road design, so you're.
yeah, we
free on
know.
that one. Driveways, you're good with your slope. Utilities, I did mark it. There you go. So what are your thoughts about this fire protection clause? I'm assuming you don't have any fire ponds in mind for
No,
your
we do not
property?
have any fire ponds.
So for the commission, 4.14 of our regulations on page 24. Asks for fire protection, in essence, ponds or payment in lieu of ponds. Which would go to fire protection facility account, so in other words, maybe to the fire department. But we can modify it or waive it, but it is in our regs. So we have to take a note that we take an action on that, whether we waive it, I mean, I don't.
There's really no place to put a
I
fire
would-
pond on here with the cut grade and everything else.
I would love to see the original approval for the entire subdivision to see if that was a consideration. When that took place,
And it very well might have been, but
reference the following maps. I'm assuming that was in 1980
You're correct, that's
When the
the original
original
plan at least.
when that
There were
original
multiple
iteration.
of this. The 80 is the one that actually got built. Those ones with just straight lots and
Yeah,
there's different
yeah. I would,
configurations out there.
I would be interested to see those original plans, but I wouldn't be shocked if there was no mention of fire protection.
and I wouldn't.
There wouldn't have been, because this was 03 and that was 8.
Good point.
So it's just let's just make a note that we, as we progress through this, that we have to take an action on that, whether to modify it, waive it, or ask for one of the following. Since you're getting enough light, that's awesome.
You tried to cover everything after last time around. I tried to make sure we got it.
Use the whole thing as sticky notes.
I know how to do it, it's terrible. Let me get folded.
What was the original subdivision?
Music Mountain Farms
Yeah,
was all of the lots coming in on Aspen Hill, all of
and
us.
what was it established?
1980.
Same owners?
No,
No.
no.
With this 3 lots added into the subdivision, this is just a question because then it maybe not even be, it's just.
We're actually going from 2 to,
Oh,
3.
2 to 3,
so we're
so
only
still,
1.
are we still under 10? On the original Aspen Hill development? I mean, there's not that many.
I think so,
right?
I think so.
I'll pull it up right now.
And this one, 5 and 6 are now 1 lot. They were 2 when they were, but they are now, the assessor has them as being 1 lot now, so that reduced that.
Just weirdly, it says the caveat of only 10. No more than 10 lots, but if it's already, that might affect, the way I would interpret that, that could affect a re-subdivision if you now got to 11 lots. Of the original,
Right.
which is much bigger than this one, right? So I don't.
Map 182, 183 in the town clerks, if you're trying to look that up.
I'm actually going to the GIS right now.
Okay.
Yeah. It's great
If
though.
there's that many, Matt might know better than anybody.
What's that?
From the original Aspen Hill development, there's not more than 10. Lots up
2,
there.
3,
no.
It'd be like
4, 5, 7, maybe 8. Because there's 3
Yeah, less
on
than
the,
10.
there's
There's
3 that
8.
border my side, and then, 5
Okay.
on the other, yeah.
That's good, so that, it keeps it under that 10, that is, I don't know how we would deal with that.
Where does it say that? I'm just curious what you're referencing.
Now you're really pressing my sticky notes.
Why does 10 lots?
Cause what there now be, there would be 11.
No, I can quickly find it for you.
No
but I-
worries, just curious. Why 10's the magic number?
Sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of, it actually probably made me chuckle when I read it, but I'm like, how did they pick king?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's being
exactly.
written on it.
6 feet away, well, what if I'm 5'11"?
Yeah. Good to
Nowadays, we're
highlight.
trying to get more development back down here.
Permanent dead end roads,
Oh, gotcha.
shall be
yeah.
created that exceeds 2,000 feet in length or serves more than 10 lots.
Mm.
Only 8 lots.
Got it, yeah,
But that's just for creating a cul-de-sac. That's
Which
saying they
was
have to
already
create- which already created.
yeah.
But it was created for, I would interpret that up to 10 lots, so if it's, I don't know how we would deal with that, or if we would need to, but
You can run to that in there.
it's sometimes when you read regulations. it's
Wouldn't that road be pre-existing non-conforming because it's?
It's just whether you're making it worse or you're-
Regs.
It depends what subdivision regs were in place at the time of the creation. So based on 1980 standards,
Gotcha.
which I would
think
love
those
to
standards
find in
were-
this town.
Good luck with that.
And if anybody has problems with these, there's somebody in the audience that was one of the members.
I didn't see that.
Notice that?
Although who reads the first couple pages?
I was looking at. his-
Worked that on.
Read all of it.
Yeah, that was a strong.
With my questions being answered, does anybody else have questions for Keith tonight?
The only question I guess I have a random question for Janelle more than anything. If someone purchases a lot that is a large lot and then wants to come back in and have a re subdivision because they've got a driveway that now does an interior lot. Does that affect anything that we're trying to do now?
It depends on the action that prospective property owner would wanna take.
Okay.
So if they would wanna like modify, get rid of a lot line. It would depend upon what action. The
Fine.
creation of any new lot in a pre-existing subdivision is a re-subdivision. Cause it's the
But we can do
creation.
it, they can do it again, was sort of my question. Someone else could come in and
Yeah, I've
subdivision.
seen many iterations of Aspen Hill and
Great,
yeah, typically you
that's-
never know what property owners want.
that's why I was just
Yeah.
curious. Great.
It's a great question.
So in these open space, it does call out for iron pipe or solid rebar to be.
Yeah,
dug out.
we'll set all
I think
those.
it's supposed to be flagged even initially or something.
Yeah, we'll set all those ones,
Okay.
get approval, because no point in setting it.
Yeah, for sure.
until-
No, understood. Another little quirky thing.
Yeah.
from there. But don't use 3/4 inch pipe, it has to be 1 inch pipe.
Chairman, before you turn to the audience to
Mhm.
speak, I did want to note the receipt of a letter that I would be happy to read to this commission. So Jim Vadas, who owns 46 Aspen Hill Drive, did submit a letter electronically. And it reads, Planning and Zoning Commission, Town of Litchfield, 74 West Street, Litchfield, Connecticut, public hearing Music Mountain Farm lots for A and 11A re-subdivision and shared access way potential compliance issues with subdivision regulations. Dear members of the Planning and Zoning Commission, my name is Jim Vadas, owner of 46 Aspen Hill Drive, Falls Village. It has been brought to my attention that an application has been submitted to subdivide and install a shared driveway on another property on Aspen Hill Drive. I purchased my property 20+ years ago when Aspen Hill Drive was a quiet, tranquil, dead-end road with big lots and ample privacy. I am in the process of building my own home here now. I have taken considerable time and have put a lot of thought into the house location and design to complement the area. I hope the quaint town of Falls Village can keep its quiet rural character moving into the future. Growing up and living and working in Fairfield County for my entire life, I have seen the drastic change of knocking down small homes to build mansions and forcing multiple homes onto what were once single residential lots. In my opinion, this has significantly and negatively changed the town forever, in that it has increased traffic and taxes while at the same time reducing privacy, sense of community, and natural New England charm of the area. The allure of Falls Village with the quiet, safe, relaxing environment it provides is what drew me to this town in the first place, those many years ago. While I support appropriate development in our community, it is our duty to maintain charm and taste as we move into the future, and we need to be smart about it. Every time we rubber stamp these subdivisions without really thinking them through, we're chipping away at what makes this community worth protecting. I urge the commission to thoroughly review all issues at hand before approving the application and whether this proposal truly serves the long-term interests of Falls Village. It is crucial that all subdivisions comply with our established regulations, and the commission requests any necessary modifications to ensure full regulatory compliance to protect public health, safety, and welfare, as those regulations exist for good reason. Unfortunately, I will be unable to attend the public hearing scheduled for September 25th due to a scheduling conflict. I respectfully request that this letter and the concerns I've outlined herein be entered in the official record for consideration by the commission, and I thank you for your attention to these important community matters. Respectfully submitted, James Tivata, owner, 46 Aspen Hill Drive, Falls Village.
Thank you, Janelle. Before I turn it over, I have one more view shed question, just out of curiosity, looking at these, at the elevations. Sort of looks like anything from this direction would be shielded just by the nature of the lay of the land.
That's, yeah,
Was that your
Yeah.
assertion?
Yep, this is all higher, all the way around.
So where the house lots are designated on this map to be, if you're looking into it, it's almost on the back side of the beach, unless you're up higher than that elevation.
Yeah, we're kind of in the valley here, you know, kind of contours kind of come around and.
So I'm gonna bring up
Can
here.
I introduce myself?
Yes, please.
I'm Amanda Timlot. My sister and I are these people. And then Eric and I own property adjacent to my property here where my parents live. And we are all downhill. So if you look at, it's hard because you haven't included additional topographical features. And I would just like to say, I echo the support of development appropriately done in the town community. I grew up here since I was like 2 and have chosen to make this my home. And certainly our property, which is this, was not the perfect place to have horses. But in conjunction with this land where my parents are, and the massive amount of privacy behind us, it was an appealing property that we purchased in 2018. So, like everything's down from here. You mentioned this property, this is all uphill, which means someone is downhill. And that would be us. This corner of the property is about as closest, and I would say it's 200 yards from my parents' house.
It's probably a little.
And there is a stream. There are 2 streams that come up through that property, run through our property as well. There are also natural springs in there that we have rehabilitated, 100, 200-year-old cisterns that supply water for our animals, as well as a backup supply for our house. So we're very concerned about the watershed implications of massive driveways going in, and because it sounds like these are big driveways, they go uphill, and as you said, this goes all up behind here, so.
Even when it was locked.
We're
if I
down
could
here.
add One thing, even when it was all locked,
Just for
Yeah.
the record,
Yes.
sir, do you mind just stating your?
oh, I'm Eric Carlson, whatever she said, same way. And
And while that property is not adjacent, the water, the stream that
it affects,
I-
even when it was locked, it affects.
tried to overlay maps at home, from a topographical map. Looking at maps from like the early, I think 1934 is the last aerial map of the area. And some of the older maps that we have and have access to that show kind of the streams. And ours, I know where this is because it's marked by a blaze on an old oak tree. And it's still there. And so this corner, the stream kind of comes up like this, and I think this one stream goes up this way. this way kind of, and the other one comes up.
Straight down. See, you can see the way the ridge, you know, so it'll come down that.
And that goes through, it feeds a pond on this property, which. As things change up there, that pond is washing over, it overflows, we're regularly having to dig silt out of it. If you look into the Hollenbeck River, you can see just like massive amounts of light dirt that come down the mountain and out of that pond into the Hollenbeck River. Then there's another stream on one of the maps you can see, and I think it comes up roughly. If you look at the corner, like this property versus the state land, you can kind of sketch it out and it comes up somewhere, I think this way. But I'm not certain, you'd have to, it's not on the maps, and I was just kind of extrapolating where I thought it was, I couldn't overlay directly. Yeah.
Two small, this, the one small stream that concerns me the most, absolutely comes right up. You know, right up this way, and that feeds. That ends up feeding the pond, the small pond and whatnot, but it also feeds. There's a cabin that we have that was up there, it feeds everything on our property. Now, when they logged even, and that's nobody's fault, is when they logged, that increased a lot. Even the state logging. You know, over here, where are they logging, they're over here now, right? That effect, but the biggest concern for me is obviously this whole hilltop. That's her land, it's, you know. Everything flows down this way, and that's what my biggest concern is how is that gonna affect? Our, you know, the system, I guess it was a shallow groundwater, is that what they call it? I know there's differences. And it's been 20 years since I was in Afghanistan when they talked about shallow groundwater, deep groundwater and all that, so I don't know, but. Everything that happens up higher than us affects us. That's a fact, you know, I'm not. Elegant with my speech, but, and that's what concerns us, it really does.
Totally understood. I have a couple questions for you guys. When you say stream, can you
Yes.
define for me what you're calling it? Intermittent? Is
It would
it
be an
always
intermittent,
flowing?
But it is blowing even yesterday,
So
2
it's
days
a-
before this, before
Is
it
it a
was still.
spring or a stream?
It was, it's just,
Yeah, that,
It
and that's
will,
an
I would
important.
say 11 months, if it's really dry, like if the conditions we've had, what, the past 6 weeks. It dried up, our spring does not dry up, that feeds the cistern. There are still wet areas that I cannot traverse on horseback on that property, so. The stream itself that actually runs down into the pond, down into the Hollenbeck River, will get dry, but stuff is still. Smushy.
technically,
Yeah.
I would call it an intermittent stream.
Chairman.
Call it an intermittent stream as far as map reading.
The question for the applicant, who's a soil scientist or who has surveyed the property as an engineer. Are you aware of wetlands presence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not, but we didn't go get all the way down and. I did not walk down into that area, so I am not 100% positive.
So if you guys could all help me out, because maybe that's why I asked the contour line. I feel like the work is on the other side of the hill of you guys, am I wrong?
So yes, a little bit, because if you look at you get 1180, right? Right, 1160, 1140, 1120,
Climbing,
it's going, so,
right,
so it's all coming down. 1180, unless. It's,
so then you're
So-
1200.
so, but it's still going up, it's still going up.
We're here.
You're
This is where
right,
this
right.
water
Oh,
is.
my apologies, I thought you were up from this point.
No, we're
That's
going
state
down.
land,
So
they're
this,
over here.
right, so this is our one with our big hilltop on our property, which comes down this way, and I say our property, I apologize, I kind of under her sisters. But, and then, so this is highland here, it's higher up this way, so it all
Totally get it,
goes right down.
I had the map.
And so that's why I'm, sorry,
Corner, I thought this was our corner also,
she had.
and I had to like look on all the like Zillow property lines and everything to figure out which was my corner with the blaze.
So getting back to your soil question. In the stream,
Yeah, and we
And
did,
then
in the,
you didn't go down in
yeah,
here.
and we, looking at the soils maps, it's all the same type of soils throughout this. If they're there,
Hmm.
you know, we are still in it. We're about 1,500 feet from even that property line up to here.
And to be clear, you guys are saying this, we'll just call it a stream for sake of discussion, it's
Technically, would be, no, it goes right down.
This way.
See, if you follow this where it points to high ground, it would come right down.
Oh, there's your name right there.
Well, not my name. My name is over here.
I trail, so the reason I know this area extremely well is I have a riding trail that I've been riding since I was like a teenager. And it comes up like this around the corner of my parents' property, and so this is where there's a tree with a blaze, and we go up, it goes up this way. And then the land goes up again here. But this is all downhill and the stream goes. I have to cross it like twice, but it kind of comes up like up behind here somewhere.
Mhm.
And I'm guessing if we look at the topography, we could figure that out pretty easily. But it's probably an 11-month stream that runs, you know, and feeds the Holland Bears.
Distance wise from here to in here, you said was how many feet?
This is 770, so we're, yeah.
Right, so this is,
something
this is the
like that,
maintenance of the,
from this, and we're, you know, just something.
so that's the pond, and now I thought
for us
it
to
was.
form anything.
Down through here, right? So then even this driveway construction, you're 1,000 feet? Well, it depends, I don't know where.
Yeah, 800.
Is it water study of it? I don't know enough about it. Like water study to see how this would impact the watershed down that side of the mountain.
But this guy just cleared basically his whole, you know, I think that's probably, and that's a lot closer to where.
Right.
The impact
No,
there.
I can hear it.
More.
Let's see, we're here. Yeah, he was clearing here.
This lot.
And if I'm up there, I could hear stuff.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Oh, right here.
I'm trying to think. Ours, so Eric and my land goes,
This one's flat, this one.
So I just wanna make sure we're all having one conversation.
oh yeah, maybe it is his. I don't know.
So that we, no, it's okay. I just wanna make sure that all points are being heard, so by all means, especially so the applicant can respond. If you had anything.
There is no plan driveway going this way. This is the building lot for that.
If I wanted to change that, I would have to come back and forth. And this was an existing.
So they're not.
No, no, that's what I was just trying to.
No, and I believe
He's based
someone else.
on your investigation in the field.
I think that's what does it.
It didn't,
I think so.
They were.
we're just gonna try to have one
Sorry.
conversation amongst everyone, so all points get heard. The question for the applicant is, in your investigation of the land, did you ever observe, you did the soils mapping, anything that would cause you to refer this application to the Inland Wetlands Commission?
I didn't, but I didn't walk all the way down into that lower corner. We weren't doing anything anywhere near there, and so I never went all the way
And
down.
this is all just proposed as open space, so presumably, I don't have my scale,
That
this is approximately.
200 or 300 feet.
So you would be out of an upland review area with development.
Yeah, there's no, you know. We'd never go way down there with any, you know. So all the proposed stuff is up here, and we're.
So if I, you know, I know I don't wanna.
Now is the time.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
is, and I forgot what they call it, when it driveways or when these get, they called hard packed or something. like
Impervious
that.
area.
Impervious area. So when it gets to be an impervious area, you have watershed, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm more concerned with, is that watershed off of the impervious area, right? In the impervious area, so if that impervious area now gets cut across here and we get more watershed, and it definitely comes right down this way. You know, you can follow the contour lines, it comes right down, and that's what I'm more concerned with.
Well, and that's where I was heading with my
Yeah.
question is.
Because that's a little valley there.
These didn't,
Yeah.
these swales, this is the steepest part,
Right,
right, which is
yeah.
the most cut cross grade,
Right.
kind of upgrade.
Right.
This is kind of width grade.
And we have proposed, it's hard to see on this scale, but there is along that whole bottom edge, a swale to catch the runoff
Put
off
down
the
the
driveway.
runoff off the impervious surface. Which doesn't need to be paved, it could be stone and still be pervious, I don't know.
Impervious, yeah.
It's compaction of the
Yeah,
ground.
no matter what,
beneath it.
stone and asphalt, same.
Again, that's, you know, biggest concern is for the animals in the water, that's the.
Did I miss a point from
Requirements
you
of the
guys?
driveway
There was just a
have-
lot of.
No, I was just confirming.
When you
Just
put a
in
roof,
the-
No,
that's your shed, you have a massive.
Not a big deal.
There's
There's
just,
And we didn't show it yet, but when the sites get developed, they'll have to have a plan that comes back before the commission for the development of the house and everything. So in that case, the water retention system would be
Okay.
put in to catch all the roof.
Okay, so that is-
That would go underground into
considered.
an under, yes, that's definitely considered as part of
Did they
it.
ever get it wrong?
What's that?
Did they ever get it wrong?
we've always gotten things wrong.
Not you guys, I'm just saying, I just said they have to plan for those water catches.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, that's not me
It's all
being sure, I
calculated,
apologize.
it's all calculated in the year to catch the amount of
I
water.
worked for the government for a while, so.
But there is, and just to be clear, there are like another, so this is just like a land site.
Roger
Level, and then there's another layer upon.
When they-
So these aren't, we're not proposing to actually build the houses at this point, it's just to split the land. They'd come back with each lot to how they're gonna develop the site, they made
Well,
it, yeah,
that's good, I'm just, that
And
way
then
everybody
we
knows
will,
our.
so we can zero in more on
stormwater and things.
these very, very great questions, you know, even storm drainage, right?
Yeah.
So the subdivider is fully responsible for construction, all the necessary. Well,
Facilities,
they
stormwater.
adequate facilities for the control, collection, conveyance and acceptance of stormwater. That means not only where necessarily they're disturbing, but for that lot, right? That's your
Yeah.
application. So, yes, 100% be concerned, but they are at least, you know, liable for.
This here's the other aspect, it could be so good that it dries it all up.
I don't think.
Right, I don't know, and then that would concern me also.
Are you concerned about too much water or not enough?
Yes,
Both, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's too much is cleared, it's all pushed in one direction, it's all gonna flow. If you start catching it all, it may not come to you.
all right.
Yeah.
I know that maybe
But you want.
trying to sell myself like there and there, I don't like to keep it the way it is.
They're the only house on the road, right?
It's fraudulent.
They built it.
Yeah, I mean-
moved away.
The soils like are very good sand and gravel through this area out here especially,
They own it.
and so I think our
Do you have the
retention.
same soil? Do you have sand on your
In
property?
places, we have a ton of lead,
Lead.
to put it nicely.
Yeah,
But then also there is a lot of, I think they call it like the glacial river
Glacial
bed,
till,
where it's just
yeah.
sand and gravel.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that's
stuff
interesting.
out here wasn't, there's still okay soils, but not nearly as good as the soils back where we're having the driveway.
Yeah, I would have guessed out of nothing that it was all ledge close to it.
It's all ledge and then all of a sudden it'll be like a giant pocket.
It's very rocky, like we had to move a lot, when we dug the test holes, we had to move a lot of rocks, but we were able to get down, 8 feet plus on the whole stuff. It just, a lot of surface, big chunky rocks, boulder type stuff.
Glacial washout, I guess.
Yeah.
Any other comments, guys? Chris, anything? Commission members, anything further? Janelle?
No.
I guess, how do we do it? Can we take a motion to close the public hearing at 6:46? So, Stephen, is there a second?
Second.
Eileen, is there any discussion on that motion? Because it's a public hearing, I believe we have to go individual vote.
You don't,
We don't?
we want to close it.
Okay, no individual vote in there. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? So moved. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks for your question.
Always, yeah.
They're still missing in this hall.
Are they stamped inside?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Oh, yes, we should look. I think that's a lot.
That is-
Now we're looking, now you mentioned that.
That was gonna be engineered stamp, the land surveyor stamp is on the site plan.
Sorry.
That's an A2
Sorry,
over
I-
there, not a.
I'll do a soil scientist, no.
Right.
Right.
You're all set, right?
Yes.
I like the sound of it.
Thank you very much.
Soil.
Everybody have a good
Thank
night.
Keith.
It was. I was there with it.
All right. Excitement for a lot of work to be done. We'll keep on moving. Into text amendment supporting agriculture, farms and local farm businesses. We'll call the public hearing open at 6:47 per time limit. Time stamp on the clock, it's never right. I always need to have a clock that's right.
Which is.
We'll start with the reading. Oh, you already read the. So Patty, the legal notice Janelle read in the last public hearing, so you can just have that for this one as well.
The what?
The legal notice that we published in the newspaper. Well, we should attach
Yes.
that.
Yes,
Shoot, it's the same for both hearings tonight.
okay.
Janelle, you wanna go? I mean, this is the first we've heard of this, so you wanna go over it again?
Yeah, I mean, happy to. The big changes, I believe we've all discussed. We've looked at this since April, updated it at a few consecutive meetings, but June, and then eventually upon the presentation from Nova Farms, updated it further. And then came to a consensus about all of the amendments, which mostly begin on your page 4 of the amendment. So it would be a new section in the regulations entirely with new purpose outlined, definitions, including the definition of agriculture, which would explicitly allow for the production of cannabis as an agricultural activity, agritourism, farm stands, farm businesses, and farm stores. And then there would be allowances for more than one agricultural accessory use to be authorized on a property. References made to the dark sky outdoor illumination regulations. Signage just has to comply with your general regulations in town. And again, very typical Torrington area health approval, and then all other activities have to comply with your local, state, and federal regulations, which is pretty standard. It is recommended that any new residential use that is established next to a working farm maintain a minimum recommended setback of 75 feet from the property line. That's just a recommendation, and that's for the protection of the farmer, so that no one comes in and develops a new lot and then turns around and complains to the town about nuisance or noise or plantings. It's also for the protection. Farmers do spray. So it's also for the protection of any residential development.
What?
So we've all looked at this pretty comprehensively. I'm open to any questions if the commission wants to discuss this further.
It might be my negligence on asking before. Do we have anybody in attendance on Zoom?
Oh, great question.
Mark's here.
Mark is there?
Yeah, Mark, but no one, no for public comment, no one for the meeting, no.
Mark, I apologize. Hopefully you didn't have any questions on the last hearing.
He did not.
Shoot, forget about the Zoom aspect. Anybody have questions for Janelle on this?
No, I think it's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think this is
Yeah.
great. I'm so happy to get this in. It's fantastic. Thank you for
Yeah.
putting in the effort to accomplish
Appreciate it.
this. This is
Mhm.
phenomenal. And it's right on board. I looked at a bunch of Kent stuff too, to try to see what Kent had to say,
Mhm.
and it fits in well. On a side note, we are not a right to farm community.
Yeah, there's,
I did find that out.
thanks for that. Yeah.
With that, any other comments, questions? Motion to close the public hearing at 6:51.
So moved.
Irene, is there a second?
Second,
Stephen?
Who moved?
Eileen
and Steve?
second, yes. Yeah, this is awesome.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so moved. Thank you all. Call our regular meeting to order at 6:51 as well. And approval of minute dated July 24th, 2025. Motion or any well, I guess first we'll do a motion to accept the minutes as presented. So moved. Stephen? Second. Matt? Any discussion, comments, questions, concerns?
Who seconded that?
I did.
You did.
All in favor of approving these minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, so moved. Public comments. Our public is so engrossed, we didn't know we're asking about. So we're gonna ignore that. Discussion to follow public hearings if needed, which are needed for re-subdivision on Aspen Hill.
What is the next step? For this?
Sorry, just kind of figure.
Yeah.
So now the next, well, if we approve it, then they will file the approved accepted map on town signed by, after the permission of the commission will sign, and it'll be on the land file until they go to the next, maybe your next question more is somebody will purchase a lot, they
And
want to
then
build
we'll
on it,
hear from that
and then they come back.
for their
The
design.
site plan.
Site plans, okay.
That's the next step.
So with that, the water part in mind, is there something? I don't know what our role would be, or if there is a regulation on that, but if it's disturbed, then what?
There it will, so.
It's gonna fall,
How
like a fall.
did I start stuttering?
Whoever's gonna build.
There
Right, I
is-
mean, but is on our part, is
Yeah.
it on our side that we say, well, no, you can't go there?
Well, it did raise a flag for me hearing, and that's why I was trying to delineate, is it a stream or is it a spring? There's definitely differences in my mind. A stream is a steady flow of
Mhm.
water from A to B. It sounds like it's more of an intermittent spring or.
Yeah, it's probably dry in
Which is fine,
July.
it all runs down.
I think she said it was just dry.
But,
but
you
it's
know, my
growing.
question would be, it's not shown on the map, and I know the inland wetlands, I don't know if it's an inland wetlands issue. But Janelle is gonna help me out with this.
So by virtue of dividing the land through the subdivision process, at this juncture, no disturbance is actually being proposed. It's more of an intangible action of just creating a different division of the land. In the event that it were to be purchased and then proposed for development, it would go through that whole site development process, which is rigorous with erosion sedimentation controls, your stormwater management, your driveways. That would be the time to look very specifically at all of the performance measures on the lot. I did a quick search when the members of the public were speaking of the new GIS system, which very nicely has inland wetlands and watersheds and water courses. And there's nothing that's mapped in Aspen Hill that would alert me to refer the application to the Inland Wetlands Commission. Certainly intermittent streams usually do show up on inland wetland maps. What gave me a little bit of reassurance is the fact that the open space where it's being proposed is actually helpful for mitigating stormwater management impacts, because there's about 4 acres at the bottom of a hill that would be left wild.
Yeah.
So from a development standpoint, that's very much a reassurance. In the event that the long driveways were to be developed, that would be this chance for this commission to really ask all of those questions and
Okay.
to look at rainfall reports and to make sure that the engineer who's tasked with providing a stormwater management report and an erosion and sedimentation control plan does all of that.
Okay. And in reality, since they essentially reduced one lot, and this one is, because there was gonna be one like up in, was it up in this area? Anyways, it feels like this plan, there's less likelihood of
Back there.
disturbing
less
this,
development.
less development.
Here's
That's gotta be, that's pretty steep.
This is,
there.
yes,
Yeah.
and the reason is it's hard to get back there for a lot of other reasons, and that's why.
It is a large, it is a large stretch of
Yeah.
footage.
But they're concerned about what these driveways are gonna do.
Right,
That's where they're
but-
really concerned.
But with it going through that designated untouchable land, if you will, I
Right.
mean, there's no better filter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In my
Right.
opinion, is set out, and, you know. I would. And there is in our subdivision, development shall occur in a manner and density to prevent degradation of the groundwater quality below drinking water standards. Based upon the normally expected wastewater dilution potential of the proposed individual subdivision lots. It just goes back again and again and again to the next phase of the development of these lots, is how I interpret it.
Okay.
And I think, I totally understand the concerns of downhill neighbors, and they should always be concerned
Yeah.
about that. I don't think it's that large of a degradation of the land as it sits today.
Yeah.
That it's gonna create anything more. We already know there's an issue,
Yes.
right? They're already complaining about having to dredge the pond and that, and they don't wanna have to do it more. Totally get it,
Yeah.
right? But the way that the land flows, and it makes me feel better that that is where they put the open space.
Yep.
Just to at least create off that lot going on to the neighboring owned lot,
Mhm.
that natural area to help any of that, if it does disturb it even, which. I don't know the land well enough to say it will or won't, but my suspicion would be that it wouldn't have a major impact.
As a hypothetical, cause I like the open space down there, but would we have any say on where? Cause he's got a larger piece of open pier, which I'd be less concerned with, cause that's rising back up.
Mhm.
Would we be able to influence where the open space is put? So that if we needed, if we needed a couple more acres here,
Different lots, so you can't,
from one to go to
you can't
another?
get the lot up there to give you lot down there. There-
You actually can.
well, I was gonna say, I think
Because
it's
it's
15% of the
of the
whole.
original land. It doesn't tell you that it has to be equally
Yeah.
divided. And, the reservation open space, in order to protect and conserve natural features, protect and conserve community resources, green belts, parks and playgrounds doesn't work. But the natural features would be, to me, like a runoff. So doesn't have to be put over there. I mean, it may change the,
Cause if this stayed relatively the same,
Yeah.
hypothetically, they might not deal with as much as they're expecting.
But I think also what we need to really look at is, I haven't hiked too far deep into here. I've hiked pretty far. And that's why this building lot is here, and they've never
Oh,
talked
it's
about
still,
putting anything further back. So the idea that we're somehow gonna get worried about space down here, I don't know if we're really going to have.
so Stephen, when you say that, not down there because of grade and soil.
More grade than anything else, because you're gonna have to go
Steep.
over, and it's soupy in the middle. Why are you gonna put a road through something soupy to go back into that?
I just wanted to make
And
sure.
there's no necessarily view on that backside anyways. You're gonna sort of go north and east to another hill on the other sides. You're not gonna go that way, and that's
True.
again why they're keeping that house along that edge. And if a house is gonna develop there, how far are they really gonna create a lawn, a yard, or anything? They're not gonna create a 12-acre yard going down that way either. So I
No.
think the concerns of that are covered because of how it's gonna probably end up developing anyways, the natural part of the land. I did want to address the letter that we received. And to say that the subdivision is only a few houses. So I think it is keeping with the rural character. We're making bigger lots instead of a small lot and one big lot. So I think it's actually helping with the character. So I just at least wanted to
Well,
address
also-
that as part of what we heard and what we're
Well,
involved in.
that.
a lot of those lots have been sitting for a very long
Yeah.
time, so
Yeah.
it's sort of nice to see more than just one
Yeah.
house up there.
It's not like it's a neighborhood with 1 acre
And
lots.
he's,
Right, no, exactly, so I think
this one, right?
yes, this
Yeah.
guy is clearing that land.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's beautiful up there.
And then the building permit just is part of our
Um,
this week's CEO
Gotcha.
report,
Oh, okay.
so it is moving forward, so.
okay.
I did wanna say to just address what Eileen was saying, our regs cover a lot of the concerns of drainage, and that's why they're in the regs, and that's why we sort of had these structures that we sort of have to play within.
Mhm.
And that also allows us to defer when we have some of these kind of questions, because there are requirements that are gonna come, as Janelle was saying, with site plan, with these other things, they have to put that forward, so it'll
Yeah, right,
come
yeah.
because of
So,
our.
yeah, so there's not a
regulations.
concern as of yet, because we're just we're subdividing, re-subdividing at this
And
point.
it is a concern, you wanna
Yeah,
voice
yeah,
it, you wanna be aware of it, but yes, there's other points where those things come into
Yeah.
effect, and that's why our regs are so important.
Mhm.
Because there are requirements that help us.
So,
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
It seems to be a common issue, the runoff and the water issues. I mean, we're doing the same thing at BB Hill with the same group.
Children.
And we haven't resolved that, but their plan is usually to pass it to the new owners. Which I think, it's not fair to me that way. I think it's something that should be resolved initially through the developer personally. And then passed out, because it's gonna come back to us. If somebody's gonna buy into a problem without necessarily knowing it until they get
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
And we have to say, well, you have a horrible runoff, are you gonna put in the, whatever. It's just my opinion that way. I think
Mm.
the developer should be fixing these before they go further down the road, so to speak. Okay?
Yep.
I mean, I think that would be the fair, honest, upfront way, and for us, it's gonna resolve the issue later. We're not gonna have to sit here again and try to figure it out again.
It seems like the nature of development in our small towns is more of an engineer putting forward an application based on whatever it is the owner thinks is gonna be most marketable.
Sure.
Like what we saw with the realtor on BB Hill, what I believe we're seeing with Aspen Hill. So it's tricky because without a property owner with interest in the lot to develop that lot,
Don't know.
there's not really anything happening.
Yeah,
So there's no development to
evaluate.
to even advise. It's more of, like with BB Hill, that example, it allowed for that division of land. I don't believe we've seen any further action taken. I don't believe any of those lots have sold. And no development's been proposed. I know Aspen Hill's been sitting there since the 80s, to Matt's point, with a single house up there. So the developer, the first person that proposed that lot division in the 80s is out of the picture. He sold, they're selling to this other group, and then they're selling again. So for us to have that control, it's sort of out of our pocket.
And there, as I was trying to say to Eileen, there's steps that will catch those issues, and
Yeah.
I think that's the point, and what I was saying, it's not a site plan yet, it's not a building lot. We're still in this
Yeah, I
idea.
get it.
I get it,
totally
because
get
if
that
I was buying
sentiment.
that lot, I would hope somebody would tell me the challenges I might face if I wanted to buy that lot.
We're just
And they might
not seeing developers with like tracts of spec houses
Yeah.
in that nature.
And if you're gonna buy a piece of land, you're probably gonna meet with our ZEO to discuss.
Not often,
No,
no.
Oh, really?
It's the
I would have assumed
realtor.
if I'm buying, the
Yeah,
realtor
it's
would
always
send
been the
me.
CEO.
Oh,
So earlier on, you talked about the fire pond, right? So, and I don't know what the topography, how it fits. But can we steer him toward a fire pond if he could put a fire pond in that spot to capture a lot of the runoff and hold it up there? Maybe it solves two problems.
but the fire department can't get to it.
first of all, he's saying he wants the water to keep moving, so if you create a pond or a structure to hold that water, we're now affecting
different way,
waterways
yeah.
or. So I
And the
think
fire
that
department.
gets to be a little trickier within that space, and there isn't so much flat.
Yeah, there's
space
not a lot
up
of
there
flat
to really.
anywhere up there, yeah.
The time to make these sorts of suggestions is really great when the hearing is open, when we have the engineer available, because right now, what we have is what we have.
Yeah.
So like making these sort of amendments to this plan, because that hearing is closed and that application was this. Like, we're not here to workshop the plan that's being proposed. It's either you approve with some conditions, or you deny. So just,
I have a question for you on that kind of thinking, and maybe it was my oversight, just reading a lot. Does anybody or everybody or somebody have the subdivision regs in front of you? Yeah.
Mhm.
We go to section 5. To start from 27, but if you go to page 28 under site condition. This is, so you have the preliminary is your first box, your formal application, which we have tonight, in the second box. So under item 3, we have the topography, existing drainage features required, wetland streams, water courses, marshes, and other water bodies on or near property flagged by a soil scientist and surveyed required. Item 8, which I thought was interesting, trees greater than 18 inches. Like, we've never gone into that detail, but it is in the regs. It's so. I don't know, it's late to bring to the game because Keith isn't here and we closed the public hearing. But if those are required and they're not here, I think we still have some flexibility if we want to go that direction.
or if you want as a commission even to require it when the site development plan comes. Because that's helpful to understand disturbance, gradients, hydrology.
And I think it's more,
Topography.
maybe more important there. The one that
Yeah.
really got me, they really shocked me to hear that there's what they're calling a stream, which I would not have a definition, but it just sort of caught me that it wasn't. I feel like that should be on the map for subdivisions. And maybe that's why they have it here, is that it makes sense to know, hey, this is already a natural feature, so that we could look at it in their initial design of this imaginary lines on this property, right? To say, hey, this could be a bigger disturbance or a less disturbance. I just don't know without seeing it, right? I mean, I can look at the property, I can tell you where it runs by looking at the map,
Yeah.
but I don't know where it starts, where it ends. I don't know if it's a grassy area that's a great filter, or if it's heavily covered with leaves. I don't know any of that, right? It could be an open space. I don't know. Stephen would be, and Matt maybe knows that land or doesn't, but I have no way of knowing. I'm really am depending on this map, I guess.
Well, it's a natural overflow, because we have them on Under Mountain Road too, coming off of Canaan Mountain. They're dry, they can be dry in July, but they're starting to run now, because,
Yeah, and I have a similar issue on mine where depending on what time of the year it is, from snow melt until probably May, there's water running. It's a trickle, but there's water running. And it's not like it could be, we haven't had rain in a week, but there's still groundwater coming down the hill and then running through that drain. But right now it's dry, right? And then even when they were digging for footings for my deck, they had a spring. And that thing runs basically, it just dried up in the middle of August. And it's a drip, right? It's piped out. There's a drain. It's piped out, but it's still producing water, even though we haven't had rain up until probably the middle of August. It's been dry the last couple of weeks, but today, just with the little bit of rain we've had, it's dripping again. So, how do you define that, right? Where water runs for, 4 or 5 months and then it dries up and then it runs again.
It's intermittent stream. Wetland soil scientists would acknowledge that and put it on a plan. They're not always mapped by deep, so it's really helpful for the town to have their own mapping and to be rigorous with soil science mapping. That's where us with the new GIS system will be better liaisons with our wetlands commission, and we can also encourage them when they get like a soil scientist to go out to your lot and get the stream and get the intermittent water course to bring it back to the town to then put onto our maps. So it's really localized data, because
Mhm.
all of these things like intermittent streams can really easily get missed, but
Mhm.
they're super important, especially for a lot of like amphibians and all kinds of things.
Right.
Yeah.
Steven?
Janelle, I have a question based on what, Greg was talking
Yeah,
about.
I had a.
We can
another thought.
accept the application with a caveat with, we could require them to do a, show the wetland stream or show the water course or show that as part of us accepting this, right?
Yeah, so what I was even thinking through when Greg raised that point about the trees, to propose to the applicant to add a sheet not only with the division, but with existing conditions. So it's basically your blank slate, what that land looks like as it's divided now with the past approval, with the trees, if there's existing stone walls, they don't think there are out there. There aren't wetlands that are on this particular area, but other things that are in here. It might be really helpful just to have, I love a blank sheet that shows existing conditions, because then you can also look at the topography and compare. So that I always find that helpful.
So we could add that as part of our accepting of this, or,
Yeah, I mean, to add an additional sheet
correct,
when they file the maps. Yeah,
okay, I just wanted to make sure that, I like what you're saying, I wanted to make sure how we could keep.
I like a lot of sheets with these sorts, like a
No, I think
lot
it's
of
great.
plan sets.
If it's all on one sheet, you can't.
Yeah.
Have to tell the, you're work out the layers of what you're looking for.
So, help me with that thinking, Stephen, so I understand we're just trying to get to an end result to show us some more things. But if it's a requirement to have with a formal application, do we then deem this application not complete?
We deemed it complete when
When
we
we-
accepted
when we
it
accepted it and
at the
closed?
July meeting and set a hearing.
Okay, so help me with a path forward on these few wants. Could you explain? Somehow I'm not grasping.
We
So-
accept it with conditions.
In
right?
the event that the commission is moving towards approving the subdivision as presented, it sounds like Torrington Area Health approval is still pending.
Right.
So I would
Yeah.
certainly have that pending Torrington Health approval. If you recall for BB Hill, I think there were a few other housekeeping items that we needed, like the fee and lieu. I think we needed some math beyond that. The suggestion to add an additional sheet that's just showing pre-development conditions, so essentially the subdivision as configured now and approved. And then in accordance with the regulations, if you think it's appropriate to ask the applicant to add trees, or if you put this in your head for the next subdivision application.
Yeah,
It's really up to how you feel. It's unprecedented that this commission has asked for site plans with trees. I think it's a very important moment to really refer to all of the plan requirements and remind ourselves of what's actually on here. Does that answer your question?
yeah, sort of. Yeah, I know it's a difficult question
It's just
to wrap your head
tricky one.
around.
Yeah.
But I guess in moving forward for future at the minimum, I would have loved to have that information tonight before we make a decision. And that's, I had it marked, I just went by it.
Well, then here's my other question. We have 60 days from today, correct? Or is it 60 days from our last meeting in July?
So upon closing the hearing, you have 65 days to make a decision.
So we could have them come back.
The hearing's closed. So you can't accept new information. You have 65 days to make your decision.
Got it.
With conditions.
Yeah.
We can't do conditions, or, I mean, there's certain,
Yeah, there.
would you call it conditions? Like, we can't condition that they come back with a map showing that we can't do.
Yeah,
Because the application is closed, but the condition would be Torrington Area Health, the fire pond. It's, well, I guess that's not even, no, that's not true. The fire pond isn't, well, I guess we have to decide, so yes. Well, that's kind of weird, right? So in the fire pond, in the public, he didn't present it, right? But we could have we could decide as a commission to ask for it,
When the hearing is open,
but
when,
you have to ask, so we have to take a vote during a public hearing, you know what I mean? Like, how do you,
when,
that's a little bit complicated for me. I don't understand how.
so all the conversations around, should we move the open space here? Should we ask for a fire pond? All of that is really imperative that that applicant is present, especially because he's functioning in the capacity of being a professional engineer. So he can answer those questions as a professional that's certifying all the information on that map to be true. Once your hearing is closed, you're really left to approve, deny, or approve with conditions being like pending Torrington Area Health. That application procedurally.
So when I mentioned that we would have to decide what to do with the fire pond in the public hearing, does that cover of us to discuss it further now?
Would you be expecting an updated map from the applicant?
Well, it's my opinion that we would waive it, but that's my opinion. We would have to decide as a commission.
Typically, when you get to the waivers, it's helpful for the applicant to be present and the hearing to be open.
It's only
Because,
fair.
and I guess maybe that's my own naivety, because to me, we have to discuss as a commission. In the public, I'm just, so I'm a little bit lost in that process, I guess.
So how did he walk away with us not saying yay or nay on a fire hydrant?
I mean, we could cross that, see if it's even an issue. But it's just something that procedurally, I don't know about it. It's. Unfortunately, this
Right.
is, well, we're in a hotbed now. This is our second one. We can take account. After decades of nothing.
I still fall back to a lot of our concerns are gonna be met. Later,
Yeah.
you know, we're still, you know, this is my problem with the BB Hill thing. We're back to talking in theory.
Mhm.
These are all theories, these are all ideas, these are
You're right,
all,
you're right.
you know, concepts.
I
And-
get that, but let me pause you there for a second, because. We might be beholding a future property buyer. To something that they didn't, was that even our responsibility? I guess it's not our
We
responsibility.
can come back
that's
to
theirs.
for modifications. Nothing set in stone.
But you know what I'm saying? They could be responsible for something uphill on that same subdivision, but they have to deal with it because they're on the lower end of it, right? In theory. And I guess that's where I struggled on DB Hill, and I'm gonna struggle here with this too, as far as bifurcating the levels.
Two different actions. When you're reviewing a subdivision, you're acting as a planning commission. When you're reviewing a site plan application, you're the zoning commission. So split personalities.
I think this all makes sense. I think the splitting of the lots makes sense. I think that they're making bigger lots, which makes sense for the community of what we talk about wanting. So I feel that everything that we want and the P O C D says and our community has put forward makes sense in this re-subdivision or change in lot lines or however we wanna refer to it as. And I think that the ideas of the two driveways over the one driveway from the last meeting is a smart change. So I think he heard what we were talking about the last time around and the widths of all that and what that was gonna be. And I think that's more advantageous to the new property owners, so I think. We as a planning commission, we're smart in that role. And I think it's fine with everything that is put forth in this, I think it meets all our requirements, it meets our regulations, and yes, we maybe didn't fine tune everything within. Our subdivision regs, but we are practicing, and so this is a live practice as well. So I think our concerns are vented, they're in our minutes. I think we can, I would like to make a motion to accept the plan as presented.
Are you making it or are you suggesting it?
I was gonna make it because I thought it would be easier.
totally fine with you making it, I just wasn't sure how to interpret that.
Yeah, so I would like to make a motion to accept the re-subdivision of Aspen Hill as presented this evening. I like it. I think we've discussed it very well. My question to add to the end of my motion is, do we put in the Torrington area health? Do we say these other conditions because they are part of what we do?
Yes,
So
And-
Torrington area health,
my only.
Yep.
I know I can't interrupt you, but
no,
we
please.
haven't come to a decision on the fire pond. Do we want that before we make a motion?
What,
Do
Whether
we
you
want to
it?
discuss the fire pond or not?
it seems like we're only left with one option since we didn't.
Because otherwise
it
it has to be a
finalize it with him.
motion, and I'm totally fine if you make your motion waiving that, if that's what you want.
No, I just thought we couldn't do it because he wasn't here.
We can make a decision on it.
We can't.
Yeah,
Have
it's
to.
advisable that you typically do waivers when the public hearing's open, but we're really left with no other option at this point in time.
So, do we want to then stop the motion and discuss
We
the?
could make it part of your motion if you want, and if it passes, it's okay. I can't be at it because I mentioned it, I'd like to.
So,
I'd like to close
then I make a motion to accept it, and the condition is the approval of Torrington area health and to waive the fire pond or fire cost issue,
Fire protection
fire
standard
protection standard.
of
Thank you.
4.14.
But as a commission, I think we should address that on another meeting or something, because I think we do need to decide if it's a fee in lieu, what that fee is. Maybe we should talk to the fire commission and ask them.
That's not part of the motion.
No.
Yeah, that we can't do the motion.
Getting right in.
I did, but I think, just on a side note, I think we should discuss it, because I think if we're gonna start doing subdivisions, I think that's an actual important part of it.
So go back to the motion.
To the motion on. To accept this on the condition of Torrington Area Health's approval. And to waive the fire protection.
And I think he had meant to mention for the site plan Music Mountain Farm lots 4A and 11A, Aspen Hill Drive.
So we should put that in as part of the,
I think
As
that's.
part of the motion.
yes.
We can't just,
Map or lot or- that's a-
we can't just like say, if we say right now we're gonna waive the fire protection requirement, we can't then go later say it's a fee in lieu or whatever. If we waived it, we've waived it.
Yes, we made it for this one. I just think we
Moving
should make a
forward. I got
decision
you.
moving
Okay.
forward, because this just came up, and I think
Yes.
we should decide what we want to do moving forward. Like we
Okay, for
did
others.
with
Okay.
the open space on the last one, we
Gotcha.
made those decisions.
Okay.
Can I
that
get a
makes sense.
second on that, Steve's motion?
Second.
Kim? Now we're open for discussion, and that's a great,
Jim second.
Yes.
that's a great discussion question. And for clarity, so say you do want a fee in lieu of, or you want a fire pond as part of the fire protection standard, then you would vote no
On my motion.
on Steve's motion. So that's the way, if you don't agree with it
Mhm.
being waived, that's how you get a voice to do so. Public hearing, we do vote, when discussion closes, individual for the record. Is there any more discussion on this motion?
I have one item to add. I believe. Did you want to entertain the discussion?
Kills me.
I know. I'll let you handle that. Why now?
Procedure for. I mean, leading up to before you accepted the application in July.
Right.
You had a hearing tonight, so there was no. Nobody thought of back in July when you accepted the application that.
Mm.
That the Timlots and would be here to ask some pertinent questions. So how do you, if you thought that it was, that they were pertinent enough to add some sort of something, how do you do that now that the,
We keep the public hearing open.
You keep the hearing open and you continue that discussion with your applicant.
so in this case, the hearing is closed. I guess. The thing that I keep thinking about is. You had an issue on Under Mountain Road where. The neighbor did something and is flooding the other guy's property. This is the opposite. This is, he's worried about the neighbor doing something and drying his property up. And I guess there's not much, I don't know. How that can be. How you can
Yeah, he was
look at
worried about
that,
both.
but I am.
He was worried about
He
not
wants it
getting
to stay.
water. No, he was worried about
Yeah.
too much or not getting water. He wants it to stay like that. He was.
Yeah.
And we all, I mean, that's covered all the bases.
Well, I don't blame them. I mean, they
Totally.
don't know what's gonna happen
Yeah.
and they could be impacted. And so they're just, I would be here too if I was them.
And I totally understand, and that's why I really would have liked that feature.
Chairman, just to go back, to circle to discussion and
Yes.
maybe address an earlier point that I believe Doug had made. Conditional approval, you are allowed to require a performance bond, so that has not been an exercise of this commission, but you address some concerns for how do you ensure that the developer X, Y, and Z, the ability to call a bond is always at your disposal and you can exercise it. Typically, for a subdivision, there's not much improvements that are happening, it's just the division of the lots. But that is a really important moment in any development, you can call a bond. And it's very helpful for your own assurance that the developer isn't gonna walk off the site without, and they want that bond back, so they make
Right.
sure that they have regular inspections. It's also a bit of a way to make sure they follow up with zoning. A lot of people just run out of here with a zoning permit thinking they never have to see me again.
Would that happen now?
So conditional approval of a subdivision in accordance with 6.08.2 is your conditional approval for your performance bonds. So you can, the commission, and this doesn't have to occur now because of what's being proposed is not potentially development and disturbance, but just to bear in mind, because we're sort of having a pretty comprehensive review of our subdivision regulations, that bonds can be a tool to help in the event that you want that assurance, like that the BB Hill issues will get addressed, so you can pull a bond.
So what are you tying that performance to though, right? This is just changing lot lines.
But she's saying when they come back
When they
with the
come-
development,
yeah.
Well, so not,
not
not,
right now.
not the bond now, but
Yeah.
when they come back with a site plan.
Well, I wasn't.
Then
sure
it's a
if that's
performance
what
So
you're
wait,
saying.
not
So I got it.
so-
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. So the way the regulations read is to ensure satisfactory completion of required subdivision improvements. The commission shall, prior to the filing of the subdivision plans on the land record, accept a bond securing to the town the actual construction and installment of such improvements. So it depends on what improvements it is that you would be expecting.
And D3 talks about a bond in the form of a passbook savings account in the amount sufficient to provide for erosion and sediment control, correction of problems with public improvements or installation thereof that might adversely affect neighboring properties. So D3 is exactly
I agree.
our concern.
What would we put on there for a value? What would we base that off on, other than a?
The cost of erosion and sedimentation controls for a site this size, because bonds are not meant to be based upon the value of construction.
Understood.
Because like a bond is never gonna pay for this development. It's to ensure that neighboring properties have some sort of protections in the event that the town needs those funds to provide those. So typically you'll see bonds for erosion and sedimentation controls.
Right, and I
Yeah.
understand the purpose,
Yeah,
I
5 to
understand why. My question would be, if we impose that, we can't just say we need a bond, we need to say we need a bond
Of,
In the amount of X.
yes.
$250,000, like, I don't know, like, I would.
5 to 10,000. Basically, you're saying you want amount of money that if the town had to go in and do erosion control or erosion, redo something that they did wrong. And the cost of that is probably 5 to 10 grand. So that's,
absolutely.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
for
that.
this,
yeah.
for driveways of this size,
Yeah,
I would definitely say closer like 10 to
Well,
15.
see, the correct problems with the public improvements and of that. So and
I
I'm,
charge more than that.
what I'm also trying to say is it's also fixing a problem. It's not like we're having to
Right.
the road is going straight along. I'm more saying we've done a lot of due diligence to make sure that wouldn't be the issue. So
and I guess the erosion and sediment control would take care of, in essence, I guess when I was saying big number, I'm thinking of, oh my God, they created this huge issue downstream that needs to be corrected.
We wouldn't be
Because it's
able,
all the way
And
through.
they prefer to
It's not even about that,
the other way,
just about the
it's all
improvement.
must go downhill.
we
But,
couldn't
yeah.
make corrections off-site.
Right.
So public, even this thing on about public improvements, that's actually illegal. It would have to just be improvements on site. A developer and a contractor has no authority to do work.
fixing a drain
In the public right of way.
It's moving a swale. That's what we would be talking about.
So if we were to put a bond on here, couldn't we, at the next phase, Janelle, require erosion and sediment control for site approval?
Always.
That would be part of our site plan.
yeah.
I mean, a bond here
It-
to go 10 years down the road for that amount of money, I'm not sure, yes. Is it just a feel good or is it?
Or when we also
really-
didn't talk with him about it when he was here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So I don't think
I-
we could do
I
that.
think we've sort
That
of
would be right.
missed our shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we're learning, and as I was trying to say at the beginning, this is practice, and we can't prepare for everything without doing these, so doing these helps us. Regardless of if we made a mistake or not made a mistake.
What we're seeing is not your typical subdivision either. What we saw in the 80s was like your Aspen Hills, someone's pulling in a road and making a cul-de-sac and all these lots are there and your spec lots are being monumented and we know that's gonna cost somebody money. What we're seeing traditionally now are your re-subdivisions, so the re-lot lines, and then BB Hill was sort of an outlier. We haven't seen that, and we aren't seeing subsequent development out there. But it's definitely very different than when these regulations were first enacted. Which is why there's that lack of clarity or lack of something seeming even relevant.
who was on the commission back then? Any further discussion? Call the question. Stephen, did you have something?
No, I was gonna
Ready
say,
to anxiously
get
vote?
back to
Yeah, let's
the
get back
vote.
Yeah.
We'll start with Stephen.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I mean.
Yes.
Yes.
Would you just motion again?
Oh,
A lot of conversation.
I made a motion to accept the proposal for Music Mountain Farm development of Aspen Hill lots 4A and 11A. Sorry, it's bad. With a waiving of the fire pond, or no, sorry, what was the word? Fire protection.
Protection.
And approval from Torrington Area Health. Those were our two conditions.
Okay, yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Unanimous.
That's great.
Check.
And I think what it does, it falls back on, they met what we asked for, it all deems right. Water flows in all crazy ways up on that hill.
Moving on, item 3B, text amendment supporting agricultural farms and local farm business. Motion. Looking for a motion to accept
I'll make a motion to accept the text amendment to supporting agriculture farms and local farm businesses. effective, uh,
Do that.
today,
I have to put it in the regs.
effective, what, September 29th? You wanna do Monday?
Or October first.
Oh,
Great.
Yeah, I love
Okay.
October
October
1st,
1st.
yeah.
Harvest season.
Yeah, I'll second.
Perfect.
Kim second,
Yeah.
any discussion on this?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited and
Yeah.
happy.
Can I have a question?
Oh my gosh. Him again.
You mentioned that
Oh, Brian.
the town is not, right, that farm,
There's no ordinance.
so how would that, I don't know. I guess how could that negatively affect?
It won't negatively or positively, it would, our regs are our regs. It was more just to make sure that it wasn't done during your year.
Farmers aren't protected from nuisance complaints.
Right.
We thought, well, a lot of us
Which is
thought
why-
we were right to farm.
Yeah, I thought it was done during that sort of late nineties, early 2000s with Alan.
And I was on.
And I asked Alan and he said they were talking about it and they wanted to do something, but nothing was ever pushed through. And that would have had it gone through the selectman office anyways, that wouldn't have been a planning and zoning issue. So, I'm sorry.
I would be happy to create a right to farm ordinance on behalf of the Board of Selectmen, should they wish to see it through.
What does that give? I'm just curious.
It's protection, so the town, it's sort of a declaration that the town supports farming, the town has the heritage of farming. And it also protects a farmer from nuisance complaints. So regularly, I do hear of people that complain about noise that is just
Animal noise.
animal noise, smells,
Yeah.
all the farm.
Big machines.
But because on Amy Road, we had an issue with that and we were trying to figure out setbacks and other ways to figure that out. So it can go, it can blow both ways. It can help a farmer and it can also become a nuisance within our community as well, because it creates, we have certain lots that don't open it up as well.
So we'll put it back on our
Anyway.
overly busy select board. If they were wanted to push something like that forward, they could reach out to our land use administrator.
And it would just be an ordinance that you would have to.
So it's our soil expert?
Our soil-
It would just never.
Soil scientist.
Soil scientist. Soil scientist.
I think we're at voting. So Matt, we're gonna start with you.
Sounds
Do you
good,
need
So
yeah,
he means
read back?
motion.
Yeah,
Do you remember what your?
I remember what I said. Does everyone else?
I do,
That's good.
yeah.
Alright. And, I will say, yeah, I'll vote yes. Aye.
What are we voting on?
We're voting on
Hey.
the acceptance of the text amendment for the farming, that.
I thought we did that already.
We have to vote.
We wish.
Yeah. It's in the individual, yes, but okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
This is phenomenal. Thank you, guys.
Great.
To do this in April and to have it done in October is fantastic.
Yeah.
We haven't done that in a while, so great. Thank you.
She's saying there's somebody, a commission in town that really gets stuff done.
It's awesome.
It's new business. item-
Except for getting through the agenda. You knew what I was thinking.
I knew, yeah.
Hey, we just started new business.
I know, it's been an hour.
Well,
10 hours a month. It's on the one sheet we're gonna discuss later, so we're here.
Item 4A, co-sponsored informational meeting request regarding River Road development. Did we talk about this with the full commission?
Yes, it's
We
the
did.
letter,
Oh, 'cause we.
the letter was really
Right, you
nicely
approved the
reviewed.
letter to, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Get a
that,
nice mailer.
that went out to Habitat and went out to Falls Village Housing Trust with 3 different proposed dates that they, through communication throughout. It's looking like November 5th. So we wanted to let the commission know and.
What was the response?
Both, very, it's in all read it, but yes, the answer is yes, they were both. Especially Habitat, very enthusiastic to
Okay, not scared by that.
No, I think that, we, you know, kind of, put their fears aside a little bit with the thought of, um, running the meeting in a positive manner, not rehashing zoning type of thing.
So this is like a town hearing, or?
It's a public informational session,
Okay.
purely that we're just on behalf.
Will it be
No, it's-
posted on the town website?
No, we're not. Just an informational session.
Session, okay, shit, okay.
I'm just have to verify if we heard back from Fallsville Town Interest.
Not at this time.
There is no.
So I will verify it upon their. They are a little bit slower.
A safe, comfortable environment.
So we don't have
Yeah,
to
we
advertise
don't
and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's why we
People
kind of
know.
figured November was a
Back to.
far enough away to have all of October to publish.
And their mailer was great. They sent out a mailer last month.
Who did?
Oh, yeah, we did get it.
Falls Village.
Oh, now it's not this hearing.
No. They just sent out a little
Informational,
informational
yeah, it
thing.
was
so
nice.
Yeah, that was.
I think they were being a little proactive, so it was kind of nice.
Are you looking?
So, David Sellery of the Habitat for Humanity Northwest Connecticut says, hi Janelle, did you have any dates? Very excited about the prospect of meeting, and our board is very pleased that you reached out. Gratefully, David. The Falls Village Housing Trust.
No pressure, nobody's looking at you.
Oh my gosh.
TikTok.
The keyboard's
Um,
flying.
Okay, so we also got a very nice, enthusiastic response from Bob Whalen. Good morning, Janelle and Greg. Thank you very much for being willing to sponsor a session of this nature. The Habitat for Humanity Board has met and discussed this, and we feel it would be a wonderful opportunity to gather with community members and local leaders to dispel any misconceptions about what the proposed developments would consist of. The Sharon Housing Trust held 2 similar sessions with the public prior to its receipt of a $2 million grant from the Connecticut Department of Housing to understand the community's perceptions and to garner support. It also served to provide the trust an opportunity to consider any views which may have wanted to see a different path or to address any misconceptions. Habitat for Humanity is grateful for this invitation, looks forward to coordinating scheduling in the fall, when hopefully plans are more fleshed out from Habitat's perspective and more definitive progress has been made in the overall considerations. So they did receive our dates and they said, thank you again. The personal preference of Habitat was November 5th, as the week is open for them. From the Falls Village, we received, oh yes, here we go. So from John D. Hanna, we received, good morning. The board of the Falls Village Housing Trust has met and agreed to participate in the informational session that the Canaan Falls Village Planning and Zoning Commission has requested, along with Habitat for Humanity, if they are in agreement. We appreciate the P and Z's mention of managing the format and questions. Oops, I just. Sorry, oh my gosh.
Great to track.
Delete from that.
We appreciate the P and Z's mention of managing the format and questions from the public, particularly the focus on plans going forward rather than re-examination of past events. As the hosts, would you consider suggesting 3 dates that we might confer upon? This may be the most effective method of arranging our calendars along with the Habitat. So, we have thrown out dates and I will circle back and say Habitat has given preference to November 5th.
Says we firm up, as soon as we know, we know our channel, put an email out to the full commission with it.
And I think the target time was 6
I
o'clock.
feel like that was it. And we're trying to do it at the firehouse. Those dates were kind of floated to the firehouse as far as their
What days?
availability.
It's a Wednesday.
It is
It's a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Again, we'll firm up with, once we hear from the housing trust, we'll firm up with the firehouse and then we'll. Did everybody hear enough of that? Are you trying to find it again? I think we're good.
No.
It's great. Annual report, I feel like I had printed it out.
I may have
feel like
stolen your
somebody borrowed my stuff and maybe didn't return that particular, and it's right here. How timely. So at the request of the town clerk and the assistant town clerk, they're looking for the annual report. Did everybody get a chance to read this? Annual reports are kind of weird because you look back and you're writing everything in past tense or present tense, or past tense, I guess it is, but it's very difficult to put together. So Janelle, thank you for doing so. It seems like you can kind of put together easy, but it's, to my mind, doesn't work that way. So it's hard to go backwards. Does anybody have questions, comments, or concerns with this report as presented?
I didn't know if we wanted to talk about the trailer ordinance. I didn't know if we wanted to talk about the farm.
That happened in, so this,
25.
This is
yeah, so
24,
this
25.
fiscal year, we gotta
Oh,
go way
confused.
back.
Got it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
mentally
No,
difficult.
got it. Cool. Perfect. I thought we were talking about what we're doing right to this
Yeah, no.
calendar year. Got it. Nope,
Yeah.
Fine, perfect.
Don't forget about it.
Oh, it's already going.
Shot.
I don't know. I would have thought he forgot about it until he pulled out the lot numbers and magician.
It's fantastic then. It's nice.
With that, any other comments, questions? I guess with that, we can just forward it. We don't need an official motion, right? You like motion, Barry. Do we have a motion
No,
to present this
it's okay.
as presented to the town clerk?
To send to clerk.
So moved.
Eileen, is there a second?
I'll second.
Matt, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. So Janelle, you'll forward that?
I'll do it right now. Hold it right in your hand.
Calendar meeting dates. So we have proposed calendar for 2026. And of note, if we're to learn from this past year, we were pretty busy in July. And we're paying for it at September. Typically, we take a recess in August. But we were posing to the commission to take off December's meeting instead
Of next year,
of
26.
next year.
Yeah.
Is anybody, any comments or concerns, questions?
Yeah.
Just feel like the summer months get rolling and then December, particularly especially with some things that used to pop up in December haven't been changed. It's gonna be a little quieter.
So we don't need, because of our last public hearing in December, we changed all of that, so there is no requirements for December anything. Just wanna make sure.
Yeah.
Great,
Yeah, it's great.
so then let's not meet in December, it's a weird one anyways with our third Thursdays and all
Yeah,
that
exactly.
anyway,
We already
so-
have to suffer the November one. on that.
Right, so yeah, that's great. Do we need to call November a special meeting, or is it because we do it now as our calendar, it is an
It's
official?
our regular meeting, as long as it's on this calendar presented to the town clerk
That's all I want.
30 days
Yeah.
prior to our meeting in January, which will give us many
Perfect.
time.
Great.
Did everybody go through and check the dates to make sure it's not a holiday or anything?
Yeah.
Thank you. I assume that, but
So, and this is slightly off topic, but I was looking at our remaining ones for this year. Okay, so we've got 2 on Tuesdays. And why did we do that? I'm just curious. It doesn't
I
matter to me, but
believe it was
just
availability.
conflicts. Oh,
It's my schedule conflict.
Oh, okay,
My
fair enough.
fault.
No worries.
But I also have come to find out I have a conflict. I made the meeting to avoid a conflict and created a conflict
Created a
for December of this year, 2025.
December 16.
We can take a trial run and cancel it this December.
That's
That's how it goes.
That's what I'm,
We could, let's see what November
What's
brings.
in front of us.
Fair enough. Okay.
Do we need to motion it? Make a motion to accept the planning and zoning commission's calendar for 2026 as proposed.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
Tim? Any discussion? Stephen? do you have
No,
discussion on your motion
actually, I forgot to mention before.
on this?
No, so let's move forward with
Okay.
this.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, so we.
Never said. And we're okay without it, but she voted, so we would just
We'll
have
just
to.
take that off the vote, so
It was just a clarification that
Yeah.
just popped into my brain, sorry.
that's a good one, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I kind of hesitated.
You
when
can just say
the vote,
point of
like-
record,
In my mind, it happened.
you can just say point of record, it was missed that Kathy was seated for Vince.
Either way, I just wanted to, it
It's not-
just popped
it's
into my
great.
brain, so I thought we should address it one way.
No, it's a great point.
Okay, well, anyway. Old business village center parking plan, nothing, solar committee update, nothing, old firehouse sale, absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Dark sky implementation, LHK and daycare. So the daycare had done work. Interesting, I've gone by there in the past couple weeks in the dark and they're back on later. So I don't know if the timer is messed up.
Oh, power went out.
Yes, I did notice this as well.
So they were off, and so I saw them on at like 8 o'clock, but I can't stay awake till 10 to see if it's still on. But they were off in the morning,
Can bring you coffee next time.
please. So there might be an issue with that, so maybe our fellow selectmen,
Yeah.
to look into that, because I'm gonna put him on for all the bugging he did to us. He said he's gonna talk to LHK about that light. Any update on that, Mr. Selectman?
No, yeah.
Okay.
It's public comment.
I did my minority. Message sent. Rescinding trailer ordinance zoning text amendment effective 9/11/25. Do we need to say anything about that?
My only thought on that, I will be adding the ag amendment and the trailers into our regs. And then I will get that to the clerk by October 1st. Does anyone want a hard copy of the updated regulations?
No.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's going digital.
Can we just, it'll be posted to the website, then we can download it from there.
Absolutely.
Great. Cause I wanna get a new printed.
So even though we don't have it
Thank you, Tim.
printed,
Yeah.
And I also think that,
Okay.
the subdivision,
If you don't mind.
can I get one of those?
Yeah. And you know, as a board member, you can come to town clerk at any time and ask her to do that.
Well, I won't say anytime.
Well, yeah, when they're.
In this condition.
Okay, when they're here.
Yeah.
As I had told members, or,
Yeah, the subdivision, anytime that you need regulations, the subdivision are online, zoning will be updated and put up on October 1st.
yeah, they're on the website. You just go to our part of the website and then.
Yeah, I've seen them there, I just never printed my own.
I can always ask the clerk to do so,
I think that would be great.
of course, yeah.
so if this text amendment was effective, even though we don't have it written, can action be taken? By
So-
our zoning enforcement officer already, like today?
Yeah,
Yes,
effective
Because
9/11, I believe.
There is, yeah, that's what it says, but there is a pending issue in Falls Village.
Has a complaint been written on a
So it has to
complaint
be a
form?
complaint to come forward, that's,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah,
got it.
I would be grateful to see that in writing.
That's message sent, received, moving on.
Dave did a really nice one sheet for the trailer ordinance and explained it very well, so it was nice to have the board of selectmen helping and backing the changes that they asked for.
Right.
Great message.
Thank you, Wendell, for your vote of confidence on that poll.
All perfectly able.
Put on it, yes.
Moving on to item 6,
Less people.
P O C D implementation, any updates from the subcommittee?
There is nothing new at this point, but I'd like to throw out to our committee members, October 8th, possibly for a meeting. Does that work for everybody? I'm saying that because right now I went on, tried to figure out the board and commission meetings coming up in October. There's actually more that are not meeting than there are. So Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen are the 14th. And then actually the rec committee is the 8th at 7 o'clock. So if we were to meet on the 8th at 6, let's say, somebody or all of us even could attend the rec committee.
I'm good for you.
Sure.
Should I have fire commission at 5? But that doesn't usually
Keep you
last
busy. I'll bring you.
like 30
reminder.
minutes, so I am traveling back in from out of town that day, so if everything's on schedule, I should be totally free.
Okay,
If I run
I
into
put
problems.
the minutes for that meeting or someone else done that?
yeah, we'll take care of it.
Good.
All right, so let's
It won't be
plan,
as good as yours, I promise.
let's plan on the eighth, 6 p.m. here.
Here,
Rec committee will meet right after at 7. We can discuss if anybody wants to or not. And then on the 14th is the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance together. So again, we can figure out who wants to be there, but we should start getting active with these board. So when we meet on the 8th, we'll come up with our strategy, our message, whatever we need to do. And then maybe review the online sheet that you put together, Kim. I haven't been on it recently. I'm just curious if anybody's even on there
I doubt it.
updating or checking or probably not. So we need to push little nudges. Just get people active somewhat. And that's it for us.
Thank you. P&Z monthly financial report from town treasurer. Does everybody have a copy that wants a copy? Really. Nothing much. There is a void. On the report. So that's just a mistake. Posted something on our account was simple on there and it was pulled back, so. Any questions on this? 1 month into the fiscal year?
right on track.
Great interaction. New commissioner membership guidelines. Did everybody see that? So what that was, is we had a subcommittee of this commission. That worked diligently to. Work towards getting new members, how to get new members, what we wanted out of new members. And this one pager kind of came along. I had communication from Laura Wertz, asking about how one goes about letting, how does one go about becoming a member of the planning and zoning and. How it's, so I think, if I recall right, the chain, I said, well, we had like a welcoming sheet that explained it. And she asked if that could be put online. So I just want to make sure that everybody didn't have an issue, that everybody was okay with that.
What does she want online?
Our, what would we call
We
it?
created a
Our
little one sheet.
our one sheet.
So this says March 2024, there's no updates, everything's
No,
still
this is
current.
just what we created in the subcommittee.
Okay.
And it was mainly what Ruth wanted.
There is
It was helpful when it was being discussed that I was able to look at it, things and.
I don't know if we're gonna be as stringent as Ruth really wanted.
It should be off and on.
She was very adamant about
It used to be
what this was.
9, and I think we lowered to 8 because we couldn't get a quorum. If memory serves me right, but it's set by town ordinance. Members, the number of members, regular members.
Yeah, it was only increased because I pushed years ago.
Oh, it was
and then,
increased.
yeah,
Okay.
it was increased to 9 because I
Oh,
pushed.
so there is 9?
No, it's back to
8.
8 now, but it was 9 because I pushed to be on the commission in 05. And there was no room.
So with no objection, see if we can get this put on the section of the
Yeah,
website.
this is the.
Yeah. Did a motion just happen?
No,
Okay.
So who's in charge of doing that, just for the record?
I don't know that anymore.
Okay,
I'll have to do some research.
okay.
I'll let you know when I find out. I don't know that really. It's. Regulations review, village business zone expansion, GIS mapping. So Stephen, do you want to talk about the GIS mapping?
Sure. I talked to Kayla and she's open to come to our next meeting or the November meeting to discuss. I'm gonna invite the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance and Inland Wetlands to come because I feel that it's much bigger than even just our commission. She did send out the new links to the new mapping system because she just went to a new company and we spent some money and so now we have a new little system started. It's very low tech for right now because we haven't put the money behind it, so there's not overlays, but it is really fun. Janelle, do you mind sending that link out to the commissioners so that they could all play around with it for a little bit. It's super fun. It's not completely accurate that my neighbor's driveway is on my lot, so I gotta talk to her about where that lot line really is, cause.
Your neighbor or Kale?
Exactly, my neighbor.
Matt Kiefer over.
But it is really fun to zoom in and zoom out. It's gonna be so wonderful when we try to redo the village business zone because the accuracy and the way you can zoom in and zoom out and notify neighbors and it's phenomenal. They've already overlaid the tax and the assessor part, so not all the maps have everybody's name yet, but they're getting there.
We committed, like, we've spent.
We haven't committed any money. The town has committed money through the assessor's office to begin the project.
Begin this project, so that's
And-
big
and-
version.
Well, it's what they need for their, they got $7,000 to start the project. We would like to have zoning be part of this, so we were gonna probably, she estimates 20 to 30,000 for our layer. But it'll help because then we can put it in the wetlands, there's flood issues that are happening that can be part of this as well. It would be wonderful for us moving forward and would help. It would help a lot of other people even besides us. Yes.
Stephen, did you say you'll be inviting all those various commissions?
To our meeting for her presentation at our meeting. Cause I want the other commissions that are involved in where that money's coming from to understand our needs and wants for it. And I feel it's very important for them to actually be at our meeting for it.
So for the October meeting, just.
Oh, sorry, there's a meeting that she's gonna do that's an informative one at 10, that's not this meeting.
So are you talking about the regular meeting in
She would
October?
come to either our November or October meeting, depending on what we decide here.
Oh, okay.
Now, I
Got
was leaving it open
Got it.
for,
I was-
she's flexible.
I was just curious because I prepare the agenda. I'm getting ahead, but I was curious. if
Yes, we were
what-
gonna
what
discuss it
people
now.
wanted,
She'll come
right.
either time. It was more what we wanted as a group. I didn't wanna commit either way until
Got it.
we.
Making sense.
Not knowing.
She's doing an informational meeting on October 7th
I'll be-
at 10 AM if anyone wants to come at town hall to just show what the material is. I wanna do it as part of our meeting. As a separate thing. Sorry.
So this system, if we were to layer it again, would it show things like water courses on individual properties?
Yes, it would do
overlay
lots of
like the
things.
FEMA or is
Would raise the
flag
flag.
FEMA that one that's not very probably accurate and.
But it would do, we could do the Houstonic River overlay. I mean, there is things that would really help us.
Because
That are already in existence that aren't showing up on maps very well.
if you recall when we presented, what was it? Kind of conservancy and affordable housing. There's the HVA, I think, has this map that you can really play around with as well, that you can layer and unlayer and everything. I'm saying this kind of out loud. If I could find that link, I think that could also be a very valuable tool for us. And
You
it's-
could
I
also
think
go on Salisbury's as well and look at theirs. It's very similar to what we're doing and you can click a layer on, you can click a layer off, you can add 2 layers. Our system is gonna grow into what theirs is already.
And I don't know if this goes into that detail, but
There's
if I
only
can
3
find it,
layers
I'll
on it now.
share this.
Yeah.
I'll
That's all
share
I think
this
I got.
other thing that they've been working on and it's free. Anybody can use it and you can't hurt it, so you can layer and layer and layer, strip stuff off. It's pretty impressive when the person that developed it showed it to us. I think I wouldn't be as fluent to it, but anyhow, I'll make a note for that. Housing priorities, do you want to discuss anything on that?
So did we decide October or November for that?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Do we wanna have a meeting, October meeting or November meeting?
I think October is fine, let's get it
Get it going and done?
on the docket.
Alright, I'll email her and I'll email the other boards, if that's okay, so,
Absolutely.
but,
Yeah, let me know what language you want on the agenda.
okay. Yeah, it would just be a presentation.
Cool.
I think it's just that simple.
Informational item. kind of
Yeah,
thing.
an informational session so that we can discuss and for us to present, hey, this is something that we really need.
Got
And for us to back it, because it's the only way we're gonna really be able to do the village business
great.
zone again.
residents can access as well.
Everybody can access, it's phenomenal, yes, go play on Salisbury's, it's really fun,
I just sent the link for everybody.
thank you.
Thank you.
On the housing priorities, Janelle, do we have anything to speak about?
Nothing at this time. Mm-mm. No, more so curious about our next regulation update.
Do you wanna just go a little bit on it, what you're asking about?
Just curious now that we've moved through the agritourism. And so the under regulations kept on sort of the three priorities that were from the P O C D when we revisited what implementation this group should do around the P and Z text amendments. So we've tackled the agritourism issue. Village business is sort of on the burner because of the GIS mapping. And then housing priorities did come up in discussion. We haven't done anything around the housing priorities. I think some of the thinking, not to speak for this commission, was really wanting to hear from Habitat and River Road Homes so that we know if we need to proactively amend regulations to make their projects more viable or just in better design. So I think that housing will be really nice during that informational, if we can remember, ask the question or take notes about, I'll try to write down to ask them, are there any regulations that we have that you would like us to consider amending to make your project what it is that you would like to?
Keeping in mind that they're in the incentive housing zone.
Yeah. Yeah. So that said, I'm unclear on what I can take home to work on between now and when we meet again, as far as our next regulation updates go.
We did a, POCD voting, what was that, what was on that list?
I have
forgot.
to look back. I don't have that right in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to look back.
I mean, that's minutes from 3 months, yeah, I think it was in our June meeting.
When we're fresher at our next meeting, I can certainly bring that and we can think through. The discussion this evening also made me think about the status of our subdivision.
Yeah, that's top.
Yeah.
Reading through this again and finding things I missed
I
at first.
wanna say that out loud.
I think that's a pretty.
Chris is willing to help.
Again.
Yeah,
But I think it's pretty high, it's high in my list.
Very
what
much.
we're seeing, it's actually what we're seeing
Yeah,
come
it's,
through.
it's just. Difficult.
Housing was connected to the village business zone and looking at how we were gonna do cluster housing or duplex options within the village,
That was the other.
village zone in general.
Yeah.
So that's where a lot of that was coming from and we got put on hold, but I think if we can put this GIS thing through, I think we could be working on this very
Yeah.
quickly.
Well, and I was gonna say too, like, you know, if we're gonna look at regs. And I think if we just focus on River Road Homes, maybe we're being a little short-sighted and we need to look a little further down the road. You know, with affordable housing and how do we make it easier to bring affordable housing to town? With some of those reg changes now versus just dealing with, you know, kind of looking at the near term. You know, start to look at the longer term and how do we make that happen?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Anybody else? So I guess on that, Janelle, we'll. Pencil in our subdivision regs. If you wanted to start working, do we want Janelle to start working on that for our next meeting to? I don't even know what that would look like,
I would-
Janelle, to be honest
That
with
might
you,
take a little time.
completely honest.
I might highlight problematic
Yeah,
areas,
that's be a
And
good
then
start.
we tackle
Start
the
there,
one
yeah.
in town.
Yeah.
but what would
Before
be
you-
really nice is to develop a checklist so that when we
Yes.
get an application, we have the checklist. And we can look through it and have that discussion, is your application complete?
Mhm.
And then when someone has a pre-application meeting, I can just say, here's the checklist.
Yeah, what you got,
It's so nice.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll work on a checklist and also highlight
probably.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
this
Yeah,
entire
that'd be great.
document.
Yeah.
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
Yeah.
So we
That's
don't,
awesome.
you don't need a motion for that, right? You're okay with our guidance?
I love the guidance. I don't need mention.
Excellent. CEO report number 8, moving along quickly.
You don't have a copy of my own report? But I do now. So steady cadence of permits, 2 is more than usual for the month, and 2 are actually pretty significant. So 2 single-family homes, 1 being 18 Brewster, which is significant because it is historic.
Oh, I have I think I have a different opinion on that now. Weirdly enough, as the map shows, part of that property is, the pond is, but the house somehow is not in the delineated. Do you know anything
What
about
map are
that?
you looking at?
Whatever was presented to the state of Connecticut for approval for historic district,
Okay, yeah, that old drawn one,
it's got squiggly lines, but the house is at, the pond is in
interesting,
front, but the house wasn't. And I
Yeah.
was shocked by that.
huh, well.
And I can't swear that that's 100% accurate.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's sort of out of our hands.
Yeah.
It's definitely been referred to the Historical Society, the Historic District Study Group is aware of it and they're doing what they will with it. I told them when asked if I would like to meet with the property owner to give them some suggestions on what it is they're doing. I told them I had to step away because as CEO, it would not be appropriate. So I just said, take your historic knowledge and talk to the property owner. It's very nice the property owner wants to dialogue about the demolition and rebuilding that home. 46 Aspen Hill, that was the adjacent neighbor, that is under construction, that lot has been cleared. And then I'm getting, I get at least a very interesting question from North Canaan every month. And otherwise, there was some interesting questions involving commercial kennels coming from a realtor. That is required by special exception, so that would certainly come back before this group and have a hearing, which is really good to know.
And that would be Route 63,
Um,
185, Route 63, I'm assuming.
Through 83.
Route 83,
Route 83, what is
Yeah.
Route 83?
Yeah.
That way?
43? No, 43 is Cornwall.
Not yet.
Can I ask what they mean by commercial kennel? That's stressing me out.
yeah, it would be like where someone can drop off their dogs for boarding.
Oh, for boarding, okay.
Yeah.
I was afraid you were talking about like breeding
Breeding.
and that was gonna.
Yeah, it requires, you know what, Craig, I stand corrected, it should be 63, because I don't see an 80.
60.
But it would be like a state license is required, and
Yeah.
then it's someone that boards dogs.
Yeah.
And I don't know all the
Is
ins
it
and
over
outs
near
of it.
Cobble?
It's gotta be.
No, you know what,
it's gotta
This
be
one-
I think
past
this is
Dean's
correct,
Farm.
actually.
It's gotta be that long driveway past Dean's.
Yeah, that's what
Dean's mom's house.
it's showing, yeah, on the
Because
left
I know
there.
the house is for sale.
It is for sale.
Oh,
Between
yeah.
okay,
Mountain and
okay.
Cobble on the left, if you're
Yeah,
going towards
yeah.
Cobble.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there's yeah.
Yep, it is for sale. And then
Okay.
one other thing to add, it just popped up today. Another house for sale that's notable is 91 Main Street. That's also within the historic, what was deemed the Register of Historic Places. That's just right up the road, and there was some questions about converting that barn that I fielded today that didn't make it onto this list.
Can you explain the questions about the Cream Hill abutters?
So, yeah, the CEO from Cornwall reached out to me because of the lack of GIS mapping. He was having trouble figuring out abutters and needed to notify them because of a ZBA application that was right on the border of Falls Village. It was for a deck. So essentially they wanted a variance for their deck to be in the side yard.
And abutters who are in Fallsville.
Yeah, and
Great.
it was a bit of a goose chase to figure it out, but we got there. So they notified the people in Falls Village that were immediately adjacent to that.
Great.
So it's nice to have colleagues that like reach out.
Awesome.
Otherwise, I did get an interesting request for the result of a well test that was done in 2021, which is about 5 years ago, and I just had to inform the inquirer that that would not be a zoning response, so I couldn't really help there.
And a stupid question, did we see a site plan for 46 Aspen Hill Drive? If they've already got a building permit, did we see a site plan at some point?
No, so because that was a subdivision that was already approved way back when, there's no like, there's not a special requirement that it would come back as a special exception.
Got it.
It's an administrative approval,
Got it.
but there is one in the file should you wish to see it.
Great. Thanks.
Any questions on the zoning report? Hearing absolutely no.
You
Thank
want
you,
this?
Janelle.
Are you sure?
You want?
Public comment? Public, come on, there's nothing left in that page.
He's done now?
Official correspondence,
It was read,
yeah, I
Yeah.
already read it. Motion to adjourn at 8:17.
not bad.
Tim, second.
Second.
Not too bad.
Tim, all in favor?
I'm giving it to Kim.
Aye.
Give it to Kim tonight.
No, Tim.
No, Kim and Kim.
Tim and-
What we
Kim.
said.
No, I was not a.
This is confusing.
Bigger than it is,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
At one moment during the meeting, I said, it's gonna be 8:30.
Yes, it's so dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daylight savings isn't
Dark
until November. What? Say?
Like, the meeting's adjourned.
Yeah.
I fucking glowed.
I saved an article because it was